We are live.
We are live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Gala's Organic Kitchen. Today we have a super special guest, Nadine Abensur. She is the best-selling author of a lot of cookery books, including the Crank's Bible that a lot of you have probably heard about or have in your shelves. And we are very blessed to have her make one of her delicious feasts. I would call them modern Middle Eastern.
That will be.
Something like
good.
that.
That's good.
How are you today, and what brought you here?
What brought me here is you. What brought me here?
Yes, but she normally lives in Australia,
I do,
right?
Well, I spend most of my time in Australia. I've spent the last 19 months in Australia. And yeah, this is the first time that we've met.
Yes, first time in person.
Yeah.
In the first lockdown, I was lucky enough to find a place to stay. I was in Australia, and someone told me that there is a house available to rent, and it happened to be Nadine's house. And that's how we got connected, but we never met in person.
Until about an hour and a half ago.
An hour and a half ago, and we've got it all ready for you.
And I just came off a train because of yesterday's wind. A train that had 3 trainloads of people on it because all the others had been cancelled and people were sitting in the aisle and lying in the aisle, and we had to charge the train to get onto it. So it's really quite miraculous that I'm here at all.
And that's why we are late, because I said in the afternoon, and it is the afternoon, so it's totally fine. But that's why we're a little bit late, but that's all right, because we've prepared everything. Can you see Nadine has prepared all the little things that we need? Yay.
So I think I'll get started.
Let's get started.
Shall I tell everyone what I'm going to make?
Yes,
today?
what are we making today, Nadine?
Well, I'm going to make some sweet potato flatbreads because they're incredibly easy.
Gluten-free?
They are gluten-free because I'm using a gluten-free flour. You don't have to use a gluten-free flour, but I have actually found that they make the flatbreads lighter. So now I always make them like that. And then I'm going to make a butter bean kind of smash up with preserved lemons and coriander and chopped green olives and some cumin. And then I'm going to do some griddled vegetables. I'm just going to make some very simple tenderstem broccoli with a very simple dressing, which will go on top of the butter bean, and I think it, and I had to make a special request for a ridged griddle pan, so we have it,
We're going to
which
use
is
that.
Great. And what else am I making?
And
then I've got some carrots and I've got some carrots roasting in the oven, so I'll be doing a simple cumin, lime zest, olive oil, just a very simple roasted carrots. I've actually got some in the oven already.
Are your taste buds going or what?
Already. So,
okay.
And then I'm going to do some smoked aubergines, and I'll tell you why I'm doing those.
Aubergines, eggplants for the Aussies.
Yeah. So I'm going to do them on an open flame behind me. I'm not quite sure how you're going to get to see this, but I think by the time the flame is flaming, there'll be something to see on screen.
We'll sort it out. And
I have been making these for about 25 years, and they are right here, just past the page, which is a shame.
It's so nice to see the cookbook author actually hold her own book.
So there they are in a book that I wrote 22 years ago, and I'm only doing that because I've just recently started seeing everybody making them like this on Instagram. So I thought, I'm just going to go back to my roots.
And guess what? I asked all the neighbors if someone has the Crank's Bible to lend me, because I don't have it yet. And 3 people said, yes, I've got it. So
in one street.
That's
extraordinary. That's really extraordinary.
It makes me giddy.
I love that. Well, it made me pretty giddy too.
Oh, good.
So look, I'm going
to
do it.
Okay, I'm your assistant.
Okay.
I'm going to ask questions.
Yes.
And can you tell us if you can hear us okay, see us okay? I can change things around because I'm also the tech assistant around here. So let us know. Okay.
Now, I'm going to do all sorts of things that are not strictly necessary, like sieve the flour for this for the flatbreads. But I just reckon anything that can be made lighter should be made lighter. So if this helps, then all good.
Well, that looks really different.
Then yes, it does. And I'm going to add. Now, if you were using a normal plain flour, I wouldn't bother with the baking powder, but I am just going to add half a teaspoon in here. And then I'm going to, what did I just do with
regular, she means wheat.
cup?
We're doing non-regular, so not wheat. Cup measurers over here.
What did I just do with the?
Oh, there.
See, already.
I'm the assistant. That's okay. Use me.
So I'm now going to make up a full cup, because this was a cup of flour, so it's basically exactly the same volume.
What's that,
of
Nadine?
this very, very soft. Very soft. Woo! Sweet potato that's been cooking for over an hour, because it was actually bigger than I need. But I'm going to mash it up into another bowl.
Oh yeah, and you're going to weigh it, right?
No, I'm not.
No,
I'm going to
But you're going to put it in the cup.
In the cup. I just want an exact cup measure.
Lovely.
So let me mash it up first.
Oh, mash it up first.
And look, it's so soft that it barely needs anything.
We put it in the oven without anything, like literally. I just washed it
and pierced it, stabbed it.
Oh yeah, you stabbed it.
Stabbed it with a little knife.
Fun.
So it probably will take the whole potato.
Maybe it will, after all.
Because
oh yes, I think it would.
I think it will. It might even take
a bit more. Oh dear, tough cookie.
That's all right. Do you have a rubber spatula, by the way? Oh, look at that!
Scalpel.
My wish.
Yes.
I do like having somebody at my beck and call. My boyfriend would tell you that.
I will just get rid of that for you.
Hang on.
Yes.
I want every little bit here.
Every little
bit.
Okay, so we can get rid of the skin, or you can eat it.
Yeah.
And hello, Tanya Cullen. Hi there.
So,
where are you?
Well, you know what I'm going to do is remove a tiny bit of this flour, because I haven't quite got a full cup of. Thank you.
It's so nice to have an assistant.
It is. Then I'm going to add this cup of sweet potato mash to the flour and baking powder, and then I'll salt it. But give me a second, because
the sweet potato was roasted.
Yes,
in the oven, just
with the skin on, and then I peeled it. So I wanted it to get as soft as possible. I don't want to get it waterlogged, so I don't boil it. I think roasting it or baking it is by far the best way of getting it tender without getting it too wet and soggy. And in a second, I'm going to get my fingers in here, but I'm going to start just by mixing it like this, and also I'm going to add some salt, just a good couple of fat pinches. And before I've got this completely mixed up, I'm going to add some chopped coriander into the mix. That's completely optional,
nice.
But it just makes them pretty, and if I can make something pretty, why not?
And I heard, Nadine likes to experiment, which is what most people do in the kitchen, which is difficult when you're writing a cookbook. But, when you have, the inspiration of the moment, then different things happen.
And it's also, when you're demonstrating live in front of people and not actually working to a recipe, but sort of, these are actually, the recipe for these are in Nadine's Feast, which is an ebook that I wrote last year with Karen Hartl-Diewitz. She did all the photography on it, and it's a rather splendid little thing, and you can oh, lovely. Maybe you could just stir them a bit. Yeah, and give them a bit longer. And maybe turn the heat down a bit.
Turn the heat down, yeah, got it.
Do you want to show people what is? I mean, we will make them in a minute, but
crunchy.
They will go with the tenderstem broccoli in a minute.
Beautiful.
So look here, all I'm doing, you see, is just mixing this flour and what happened there?
Yeah, no, this is delayed.
Ah,
yeah,
oh, that's so funny. I just
know.
saw myself on the computer. That was
It's
a bit
very
disconcerting.
confusing. So this is the camera here, right?
Mm.
Have a look. This little,
Yes, I can see.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. We
Is
got
there
you.
anybody
We
actually
got you.
watching right now?
Well, there is one person that might be watching, but she might have left. We don't know because Facebook is a bit slow with people coming and going.
Actually, where's that flour that
Yes.
I took away? I want
Here
it
we go.
back.
But the thing is, you know what life is like. People are busy, and a lot of people said they will watch it later in their spare time because some are in Australia as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
So this has basically turned into a very soft dough.
Oh yeah, that looks
going to-
amazing.
So I did need that full cup of flour.
I kind of
And
want to move the camera so we can get in there. Oh, we've got someone else watching. Hello
yes,
there.
so look, it's very nearly there. It's still warm, and I'm going to let it cool down before we start rolling them up. And anyway,
Can
we
I show
don't
them?
need to roll them. Let me just finish
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I won't quite roll it out yet. I'll let it sit for about half an hour till the end. Basically, that'll be the last things that I make.
This is genius. It doesn't have
So
oil in it.
so there, see,
That looks
it's quite
really
soft.
nice and
You can
orangey.
show it
Yeah,
closer if you
look at
want.
that. So this is sweet potato, gluten-free flour, coriander, salt,
And baking powder.
Beautiful.
And seeing as I've got this extra coriander, I may as well put it in there.
as well.
Okay, so let's
nice.
set aside.
Set it aside.
And do we have a tea towel we can cover
Yes,
it with? That would
here
be good.
We have loads of tea towels. Let me get one out.
That's actually a really lovely mix.
That is a really nice looking
okay,
dough. I
there
love
we
it.
go.
Bye bye. Good night.
So maybe you can let me go and wash my hands,
Yes.
and you can come
Okay.
and talk to everyone.
Yes. So Nadine wrote quite a few cookbooks. One was
A long time ago.
a long time ago. But I was saying earlier, the thing is, now, like back then when Nadine made these cookbooks and made this kind of food, it was really special and exotic and different. And now it still is, but it's more common for people to eat interesting vegetable dishes. Whereas back in the 90s, I read on your website, it was all kind of brown and mushy and not very interesting.
Well,
Generally
there had
speaking.
been that, it was a bit of a leftover from the 70s, which, I mean, there were some marvellous things about the food of the 70s, because it's when people started to show an interest in organics and,
Yeah, like
free
homemade.
range eggs, which nobody had heard of before that.
Really?
And
Oh my God.
and it was very very wholemealy, very whole foody, which didn't really suit my palate or my aesthetic. I'm
Focus.
going
Okay, what are
to
we
go on to something which, I also like to cook things that are very accessible. I mean, sometimes it's fun to really push the envelope and all that and do quite exotic things. But if you can make something exotic out of something as box standard as a can of butter beans, then I think you're onto a winner, because that's something, nobody can complain that, it's too rarefied, or you can't find the ingredients, or they're, supermarket organic butter beans. I'm going to drain them.
I'm your tea towel holder, by the way.
Oh,
if you need it.
okay.
Yeah.
She's my tea towel holder.
So
Okay.
I'm the assistant.
Okay.
Okay,
And
chuck that anywhere on the.
so I'm going to keep the liquid, because I'm almost certainly going to need to use some of it. But initially I'm going to just whiz these up in a little mini food processor. I will take a couple of spoonfuls of that to begin with, and there may be more later. I'm going to add a let's say a tablespoonful, maybe a little bit more than a tablespoonful, into the butter beans. And a little bit of cumin, ground cumin, not too much. It's about a quarter of a teaspoon. And a quarter of a teaspoon of salt. We may end up adding a little more. Yes, I can see.
You put the lemon inside.
So I put the lemon in there, but I'm also going to use it as a garnish.
Right.
And also, my favorite thing, one of my favorite things ever, which is some roasted garlic. I don't know if you can see that.
Let me get a bit closer there. Roasted garlic, 50 minutes in the oven. Oil, salt, pepper.
Yeah. How long did you? Yes.
50 to 1 hour actually.
Yes, I'd say something. Yeah.
My oven is.
Okay, and you did them on 180. Yes, that's fair enough. So I'm going to squeeze out a couple of cloves here. So I'm going to smell like I don't know what for the next 3 days. So let's say I put in, these are quite small, like normal old-fashioned size garlic cloves, as opposed to the mammoth ones you get now. So I've two, I think I'll put 3. I can always adjust later, add more if I want.
So you just
and I just love the way it squeezes out. In fact, later, I know you've got some sourdough bread.
Yes.
We're going to make a kind of bruschetta. There you go, there's me improvising.
Okay.
Because I refer to this as a vegetarian marrow. It's a bit naughty of me, but I really love the texture and the consistency of this, and I love the way, in my non-veggie days, I used to love that spread. So I like to do that on a piece of toasted sourdough bread and a bit of olive oil on top and some chopped parsley.
Lovely, but we have a whole nother one over
yes.
there.
Yes. No, what I mean is later,
Great.
when we've done everything else, if we get round to it. If we don't get round to it, just clock this one, okay? Sourdough toast, roasted garlic, olive oil, salt, pepper, chopped parsley.
Nice.
Yes.
That sounds good.
So I'm going to make a bit of a noise.
Okay, she's going to make some noise. I'm not going to bring the camera around because it's just going to mess with everything. But I will wash up as we go. So it's okay for you.
And I will add a little bit more liquid.
Yep, some more of this bean water.
Yep.
So aquafaba is
there's
chickpea
another.
water.
Well, but this one is not chickpea water. This is butterbean water.
It just doesn't have a fancy name.
Well, I don't know why you couldn't call it the same. I really don't see why not. And then it's really up to you whether you make it really smooth or leave it with a little bit of texture. I think I'll leave a little bit of texture, not too much.
Can I show closer?
Yes, and I'm going to put it into a bowl. It'll be easier.
Oh, is it ready? Okay.
I think I'll use this, and then I can finish off. I'm going to add some olive oil to it.
You're going to mix it in the bowl.
Mix. Oh, I know what I was going to say.
I can do this.
I'll do it.
Okay. Just relax.
Yes, just sit there and smile.
I'm loving this. This is so great.
Well,
look
how incredibly easy both of these things are so far.
I love that.
And
by the way, if you live in Stroud, I bought this at Falafel Mama. They make their own preserved lemons.
And one day we could do a little tutorial on how to make your own preserved lemon, because it's so easy, but it's so versatile. Yes. So I'm going to add, as I said, some olive oil to this. And what I was going to say before was that if you have some saffron, you could, no, not now, if you have some at home, then you could heat up some of the bean water and just let your saffron threads marinate in the hot liquid, and that adds another level of flavour to this, and with the preserved lemon it makes it super duper Moroccan.
Why are we not doing that?
Because
it's enough flavour already?
Well, yes, and because
I have Middle Eastern.
Yes, but it's fine. Look, it's really fine.
I will make a mental note of that.
And I see that lovely lemony oil. I'm going to use the rest of that. I think I'm going to put a bit more of the and I might taste that a little bit more. So this now, it's really up to you. I like it quite rich. You could also put a little bit of harissa in this. So really, as
I think that looks
flavoursome
amazing.
as you want to make it. And so coriander is this one. So actually, I'm going to put that into a dish straight away.
Oh yeah, you've got that on there.
And
Very good.
then I'll dress it and you'll see, make it
Okay.
prettier.
And she also wrote the new Cranks recipe book.
That was the first of the Cranks books, I think, wasn't it?
Right, yeah, because
Of my
after that, that was
Cranks
96, and then there was the
Oh, God.
Cranks Light in
How,
98.
don't. This makes me feel absolutely ancient.
No, that means you're a master chef. That's
stop
what
it.
that means.
Oh.
And then there was Cranks Fast Food in 2000. So, and they've been
And Cranks
translated into
Light.
how many languages?
I don't know, 4 or 5.
4
some
or
of them
5.
4, some of them 5. And then there was Enjoy after that in Australia.
Yes.
And then there was Nadine's Feast. And then in between that, there was another book that's still sitting on my desk that was never published. But I like to think of it as my baby.
Not yet published.
Yeah, maybe that's the word.
Over
This
there,
is so simple. But it now really depends on
this.
the ways in which you dress it.
So what are you dressing with?
So I've just added some olive oil. I've added some more of the chopped preserved lemon on top. I'm going to chop up some more coriander to put on top. I'm going to do some chili. I could have put a little bit of harissa in the mix, but we've got a lot of things going on top of it, so I'm not going to overload it right now.
I feel like I want to try it without harissa. It looks so yellow and lovely.
Yes, so I'm just
going to keep showing you so you can get an up close and personal delicious flavor. Hi Jilly! Jilly lives down the road.
You could put some chili oil. In fact, that olive oil, you could have turned it into a chili oil. So, it's all open to many variations and interpretations. And right now I'm keeping it fairly simple and basic, give you the kind of base recipe. But look, already it's looking rather gorgeous. Oh, I know, that was the other thing. Da-da-da. And I've got some lovely green, fat jumbo, in fact they're garlic stuffed green olives. And I'm going to chop them up really small.
Because I especially when I started cooking, I put too many things in to try and make it more interesting and more enticing. And then
you don't have to be too much. But here, you do eat with your eyes, so making it appealing to the eye is definitely a good move. Anyway, look, it's so simple. I don't more. And then I'm not using black olives. I think this goes better. And lastly, I'm going to put a little bit of finely chopped.
Contrast in colour.
Well, you always need to give it dimensionality, I say. You always need.
Dimensionality.
Yes,
Oh, that's
you
a good
need.
one.
You need the contrast of colours. You need to be able to build up the plate. And this is so simple. I mean, right now, too many words for a really little thing, but you know what I mean.
But I like this word. I'm writing it down.
What did I?
That's a good one.
Well, things can look flat, and you want it to have layer.
So back in the days, she was working on shifting the balance of powers from fish and meat to a more balance with the vegetables. Oh, excuse my language, my English sometimes, my sentence
No, I think what I remember, I know what you're referring to.
Yes.
It's a sentence in I think it's in the Cranks Bible, and it said something like, I want to shift in the balance of power, please. I want the focus to shift from meat and 2 veg to lots of veg, and if you really must have the meat, a little bit on the side. And in fact, that's exactly what's happened, isn't it? It's actually what's happened.
Exactly.
So that's dish number 1 ready.
Yay.
So we'll put that aside.
We will put that aside.
And
yes,
our
they need to go
carrots.
out.
I'm going to just make some roasted carrots. Again, pretty simple, but you'll see, you know, it all looks pretty simple. Once we start to layer all these elements together, you'll see there's a lot going on, and you don't need it to be any more seasoned or worked on than
But
this.
also, like, simple, like everyone's simple is different, you know.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
really,
So here, whoops, thank you. Here's a teaspoon of cumin seeds, maybe a generous teaspoon, and half a teaspoon of ground cumin, and I do believe there was some
coriander.
Well, here we go, that'll do, just a little touch of coriander. And here, well, I wasn't planning on this, but it's right there, a little bit of sumac.
Can't help it.
I can't help it. She's quite right. Here's some rose harissa, which I bought from a lovely deli in London, and I'm putting about, I don't know, a scant teaspoon of
and while you
harissa.
prepare your lime, I just want to say, dear Tanya Cullen, she's joining in from Oxford, and she's hoping that her friends will join too. Hello, thanks for joining. It's looking so delicious, isn't it?
Is it? Is that what?
Yes, that's what she said.
Oh, hooray.
I totally agree. It smells amazing.
And here's some lime. I'm going to put some lime zest in here. And in fact, at some point I'm going to make a lime and cumin and coriander dressing to put on these. But the roasted lime zest is actually rather delicious.
Roasted lime
And
zest.
just a little bit of juice just to make everything move. And a spoonful.
I'm making notes.
Good. Here's a tablespoonful of olive oil, probably a little bit more. Oh, by the way, there were 200 grams of carrots.
200 grams of carrots.
Peeled and just cut into batons. If you can find, baby carrots, that's even better. There's some salt.
Yeah. She did say that on the shopping list. Sorry.
It's really fine. You work with what you've got. Although I really, really love great organic, local, fresh ingredients, and I really do, I know full well that that's not the reality for everyone. Yeah. It may be the reality for the small number, for us. I mean,
you mean
what
to
can
have
I say?
it available and affordable and be able to go and get it.
Yes. Yeah. So, I'd rather people use the carrots that they can find,
Yeah.
And I'd rather you ate more vegetables than fewer vegetables, because you're put off by the fact that you can't find exactly the vegetables you need where you want them. Just hang on to that for a minute. Yeah. I'll wash my hands again.
I'm a keen assistant. Gotta get.
And I think, although there's no substitute for good ingredients, there's also no substitute for good cooking, and actually really taking care of your ingredients and really loading them up with flavour and seasonings and
also care. I can see there's the care.
Yes, and also not being afraid. I mean, I probably don't need to say this anymore, but there was a time when I would have to say to people, please don't be afraid of olive oil, please don't be afraid of salt,
because of the oil.
Please don't, But I think we've now got to the point where we know that we're much more likely to enjoy our food if it's really, truly delicious. That's got to be the point. So I'm going to put that into the oven. Basically, taking 2 whole aubergines. They're quite slender. They're rather beautiful. They're firm. They're elegant. They're lovely. So I'm going to put them straight onto the
I will just help you because it's a bit broken. You have to sometimes blow it.
Okay. We can have one on each.
It works.
Right. Actually, we can even do it on the little one.
Okay. We have a medium one too.
Okay, so
Yeah,
they'll
that's
take,
fine.
I don't know, 7 or 8 minutes, and we're going to leave them on the flame until the skins go completely black, and you'll see, and they'll blister, and we'll just easily peel them off. And then we're going to dress it with olive oil, lemon, garlic. In the meantime, I'll get some garlic prepped.
Okay.
And then we're going to make a chickpea salad. We're going to fry the chickpeas in harissa again, and then mix them with a yogurt and tahini dressing and pour them on top of the smoked aubergines.
Amazing.
Amazing.
I can't wait. And I just wanted to say, following on from that conversation we just had about Nadine wanting her passion to bring interesting, beautiful vegetables to the world has happened. And what I loved what you wrote in your book was, you do what is right or true for you in your particular circumstances. I can't see anything wrong with that.
No.
I think that's really beautiful. That's so inviting. That's how I feel about, like, I feel like saying eat more vegan food, but it doesn't mean you have to be 100% vegan. It doesn't have to be 100% like, it's like an invitation for everyone. I think that's very kind.
Oh. Oh well, I must have been in a good mood.
You must have been in a good mood.
Because apparently I'm really despotic.
Well, you know,
I used to be called zealous, you know. People used to say I had the look of zeal in my eye. I remember.
Well, that didn't get to me, actually. That rumor didn't spread all the way to me.
Do you have a jar
you can see
by
us.
any
Thank
chance?
you, Miranda. That's great. Yes.
Do you have a jar or even a jug?
Do you mean like a little jar?
Yes, I just want to make this dressing.
Yeah, coming up. I'm just need to find the lid for it. There's a little jar.
That should be perfect.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
So I'm just going to make a little bit of a kind of a marinade to pour. In fact, it's very versatile. This one is just garlic, chopped chili, chopped coriander. Whoops, I've got a big bit in there. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. No. Oh yeah.
That's big.
Okay. Isn't it lovely having someone by your side that just anticipates your salt?
Ooh, good pinch of salt. I was
that
wondering.
was that ground cumin? This one?
That was coriander.
No.
No.
That's
it's
ground
cumin.
cumin. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
1,
The coriander is here.
2.
You need some.
No. Yeah, little tiny.
No.
Not mad keen on ground coriander, to tell you the truth. Just a little bit, and also some seeds.
Cumin seeds.
And
Interesting.
more. Now I know. You told me you had
Juicer.
a lovely little juicer that
My
belonged
dad's juicer.
to Maria's dad.
That's one of the things I took home from Australia. Is the juicer from my dad. Chaos
It is no chaos.
No, it's no chaos.
And then here, look at this.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most beautiful purple sprouting broccoli, tenderstem broccoli I think I have ever seen. It's just... No, it's absolutely gorgeous. Where did you get this, Maria?
From the farmers markets, from the Stroud farmers markets.
It's
Isn't it
really
beautiful? Look at that. You should be jealous.
Yeah, it really is exquisite.
It really is exquisite because
Yes.
I bought some from the supermarket and it looked a bit dead in the plastic.
So I'm going to take the leaves out, though I will use them. Yes. And I'm just going to douse that in olive oil quite generously, as you see, and salt, and actually not really much else for now.
Yeah, I just want to show everyone the crazy burntness of the aubergines, eggplants. They're on the flame, on the stove directly.
Can I see?
Yeah.
No, exactly. Now, can you see how totally soft they are? Now, I don't want to burn myself, but that is completely soft. You might want to put this end bit back on the flame just for a minute.
And people have been asking me, how do you cook aubergines so it's really delicious? So this is one way of cooking it, so it's super soft.
And well, the great thing about that is you can then use that as a base for a baba ganoush.
Oh yeah. So
My chickpeas. So another can. Sorry about that. Of course you can. Oh, sorry, didn't mean. Anyway.
no need to apologise. No need to apologise.
No, I just made a silly pun. You
I see.
could, of course, soak and cook your own chickpeas, but we, as I said, I'm much more likely to do it if I know that I can just get a can out of the oven, out of the pantry, than if I have to think about it the night before, soak them, blah, 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 but not going to happen in my house.
I think that's the case for many people's house.
So especially living alone, you know, it's
yeah, and a lot of people, are stuck still kind of, you know, like normal life isn't completely back and travel and
now
people are
resist
cooking
the
for themselves.
temptation to eat half a can just straight off. I'll try not to do that.
Don't do that.
Would you mind?
Yes.
Would you mind transferring those carrots onto that plate for a minute? Because I'm going to need that dish. But I'm going to assemble these.
Oh, they look much better on the back plate too. Is that okay, oily?
Yes, that's fine. Now look, there's so many ways. I am so bad at sticking to one idea, but I'll try. I'll try.
It's lovely
Okay.
to see you in action.
You
not
see,
sticking to one
what
idea.
if you look at it, I think it's in Joy, the book after the Cranks Bible. These are mixed with olive oil and ground cumin and paprika and garlic and coriander and parsley like a chermoula and olive oil. This time I'm going to make it really, really quick. I'm going to add some harissa. This one is not super spicy, so I don't mind.
It's not, is it?
It's really fine. It's and I could saute these, and I may actually, because I want to put some cumin powder in there too, ground cumin I mean. Did you say we did have some paprika? Because maybe I will.
Yes, absolutely. Here, from Czech.
Oh yes,
There
you
go.
said you had
In
the
this funny packet there.
this one?
Yeah.
So I do have some proper Czech paprika. Yum yum. Just a little bit, not too much. And I'm going to saute these in some olive oil very, very briefly, just to amalgamate
You're
all
gonna
the
sort it.
spices.
Okay, and I just want to show you the grilled aubergines, eggplants, super grilled, just on the flame. Hey Tansy, nice to see you. These are the gorgeous carrots. I'm just gonna toss them in front of you so you can get a little taste, a little whiff through the screen into your kitchen.
And back to these aubergines. Now, one way that you can make it easier on yourself in peeling them is just to cover them with a tea towel or a piece of foil or something like that. And that allows the steam to rise and kind of push the skins off. And you do that when you put a red pepper on the flame. And if you like, we can make a... Shall we? Shall we do a flame? Because we can use that as a garnish. Yes, we can smoke that too. Here I've got the chickpeas. Can you see? They're just going to basically cook off the dryness of the ground cumin.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to let these cool down for a minute.
Oh, so they're not fried as such.
They're just. I really just wanted to take the rawness out of the spice because I'm going to make a dressing for them. Normally, I would leave them like this and then put the dressing on top. But I think I explained that what I had in mind for today was to mix them in a yogurt and tahini dressing.
Yeah, I just thought you.
Yeah, well, they are very lovely like that, aren't they? We might leave a few of them like that as a garnish. And now, am I jumping too much from one thing to the other?
Go for it.
Is that okay?
Go for it.
So here, I've got some Greek yogurt, It's actually lactose free, but that's absolutely by the bites because I'm lactose free.
She's lactose intolerant, so I spent half an hour looking for this pot of
She's
lactose free yogurt. And they also have, so I have, check this out, I've got a Greek style, I've got the best soy yogurt on the planet.
Oh.
I reckon you would like this one.
Really?
Actually. So Jade, you make the best soy yogurt, and it's Greek style, so it's really thick.
Okay.
And it actually tastes a little bit like yogurt.
Oh, okay. I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it. Now, where's the tahini?
The tahini is here.
Oh yes.
And it does need a bit of a stir because it's...
Well, in that case, no,
is it
it's
okay?
fine. It's absolutely fine. We may need those, and I forgot to tell you this, to get some water on the boil.
Yeah,
or just some hot water even. Because although, no, so far so good.
How much do you need?
You know what? Not much at all.
Okay.
So I'm sort of making about 2/3 yogurt to tahini here.
Okay.
And I'm also, that's lovely. I might have to taste that. Might have to taste this.
Yes.
Consistency is good.
Yogurt and tahini.
And I'm going to, because I can't resist, put some more of the roasted garlic into it.
I love it.
Well, it's just there. How can I not?
It's just there. I did 2 instead of 1. I couldn't help myself. I had to do 2.
And I'm going to add a bit of...
chopping it up.
I'm chopping it up. Can you see? Yeah, I don't want to take too long doing all this. Yeah, just a little bit there. And
that's my sister, Daniela.
Oh.
Hi, sister.
Can I see
She
her?
says, great to see you in action. Thank you.
Can I see you, Daniela?
No. I don't know how that works. How does that work?
It's alright. Look, I'm also going to put some fresh
also raw
chopped
garlic.
raw garlic.
Wow.
Just half a clove there. Do we have... Yes, I wanted to put a little bit of tamarind into it.
Tamarind is behind over there.
Okay.
Oh no, you put it in the...
So I do like to chop my garlic very small. I don't like to use a garlic press.
Oh good! I don't have a garlic press either.
No, I don't.
I'm anti-garlic press.
I'm anti-garlic press too. Just whips it up and there we go. And I'm going to put a spoonful of tamarind into it. And I'm going to have to taste this.
I've never done that before, mixed yogurt with tahini, but I've read it in all the kind of Israeli Middle Eastern books.
And I'm going to taste this. That's quite nice. And you could take a bit more.
I'm going to taste it too. Wow.
And
gosh. It's interesting.
And a really good citrus to put in with tahini is orange. But
I have
you
blood
do?
Orange. Oh, blood orange.
No, let's not.
Not really?
I'm just going to add a drop of boiling water just to loosen it up a bit.
Oh, she's gonna watch later, Tanya. Welcome. Looking forward to seeing everything come together. Can
And
almost taste
I'm
smoky
going
kind
to...
yumminess. Thanks for dropping in, and I hope you enjoy it later. It's like slow cooking. You can just like sit back, relax, and watch it while you're...
So I'm going to keep some of the chickpeas back just to put on top and mix the rest into this dressing.
Oh my goodness.
Now, how are the aubergines doing?
The aubergines?
Yes. Are they? How are the skins?
Here, yeah.
Okay.
I
I will add some coriander to this in a minute, but let's just have a look at these now. So.
You tell me, doctor. I don't know.
So I don't. Can you see? Is there too much in the way there?
I think it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just
I
going
wanted to show you just briefly the chickpea tahini yogurt mixture.
So I'm just going to lift
can see it.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to lift the skin off. And the important thing is to season them while they're still hot because they absorb the flavors much better. There we go. So take as much of it off as you easily can, but don't take the bottom layer off. So they look like that. But I'm going to make slices, can you see? All the way down to the skin. Sort of finger thick slices. So that it holds, so that it holds together. So now that dressing that I made earlier with the lime juice, olive oil, cumin seeds, garlic, I'm going to pour it on top.
Lime juice, olive oil, cumin seeds, coriander?
Yes.
Garlic.
Yes. So I'm just going to let it really seep into the flesh.
Wow.
Because I want that flesh to taste as good as possible. And yes, and then I said garlic, didn't I? Yes, there's lots of garlic in there.
I've never made this before.
So, frankly, you could almost serve it just like this with some coriander on top. But we're going to go several steps further.
Oh my gosh.
And I think because I'm going to put coriander on top, I'm not going to put it in here as well. And I'm going to put these on there. I sometimes, instead of putting it in the yogurty tahini dressing, I put the chickpeas, as I said before, in the cumin and the paprika, and then I do griddled halloumi on top.
Ooh.
But
My friend Paul would like that. He loves halloumi.
And you could also crisp some of these up, but we're doing a lot of things today, so I know, it's probably one day we'll just do two things.
One day.
But I
love it.
I'm that kind of person, I can't help it. And then some coriander. So that's pretty much that.
Just get rid of that stem.
Yes, thank you. No. And I think, I know what else. Again, it's amazing what that little bit of red from the chili adds.
This has never happened in Gala Organic Kitchen before.
What's that?
This kind of cooking with the layering, the textures, the depth of flavors and different
So
ways
there you
of
go.
cooking. Oh,
That's that
my
one.
goodness. Amazing. Let me show everyone. Just look at that. I'm going to make sure this for a while. It's really worth checking out.
And
Wow. Yum.
I think we'll actually make the other one later. Now I need another bowl.
It smells amazing. Okay.
Another bowl.
Another bowl.
Oh,
a
from
serving.
over there.
Yep.
Yes.
This one or the other beige one?
This one will do beautifully.
Okay, great.
And
Wow,
we're going to put the carrots. There was the ones that I prepared earlier and the ones we've just made. So I'm going to, and all of this, they are part of something else. So, but again, they're fine just as they are, aren't they? We're going to use them with the sweet potato flatbreads and the butter bean smash, but obviously they're a lovely salad as they are. And I'm going to, if you remember the dressing that I used, thank you very much.
Do you want to wash them or you're okay?
No, I'm fine. If you remember this dressing that I used for the aubergine, I told you that I was going to add a bit of maple syrup to it for the carrots. Oh, you know what else I'd like in here for the carrots? Do you have any mustard?
Yeah, of course. I
Hooray.
love mustard. Mustard
Hooray.
is
I'm a
one of
little
my
worried that you
favorites.
might not, actually.
I've got like 5 French mustards
Okay, I
from
don't...
France. Do you want whole grain or not?
Whole grain would be lovely, why not?
Really? Okay.
Yes.
But I also have one from France
Yes?
that is...
Okay, that's lovely.
Yeah.
We'll have just...
Excuse my fridge.
That's okay, just have a little bit of mustard. Or one.
When I went to France, I just buy mustard everywhere. I love it.
So you could just put this on top of some rocket with some goat's cheese on top, some toasted walnuts.
Hang on. Oh, yeah. I just want to show them the roastedness.
Oops, not too much, he says.
Can I show them before
Yes,
you mix it?
sure.
Just so you get it like up close and personal. Okay,
And
Daniela, these recipes are in Nadine's books.
And
She's
all
got
versions of them. And so here I've got some toasted almonds. We did these. That's the first thing we did when I walked in the door with my coat on. So that's that. So now we've got the broccolini to do and the the flatbreads. And here is another
steak. Oh,
smoked
gosh.
red pepper, which we're going to peel because that would make a really nice garnish at the end. The thing to do now, actually this is probably a little soft, it might need a little bit more flour, but I'll see how I go. If you break off sort of good generous egg size portions, you should be able to get about 6 out of this. And let's flour my hands a little bit. So now that they've cooled down, they'll be a lot easier to handle. These may be a bit too big. Let's see how we go.
Also, we've got the pomegranate molasses and
Yes.
the sesame seeds
Yes.
if you ever need it.
Yes,
Just
I'm going
reminding
to.
you.
I know.
Yes.
I've been thinking about them.
Ah,
So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'd say that's exactly right.
and that was 1 cup of sweet potato puree to 1 cup of gluten-free flour.
Exactly. With a half teaspoon of baking powder and a pinch of salt and some chopped up coriander. Right, so
Beauties.
now, frankly, you could just do this
Mm-hmm.
and fry them like this and not too thin. I'm going to start frying up these tortillas, even though
I will show you once things are frying.
Yes, and
Yeah.
yep,
Okay, so this is the first sweet potato flatbread with gluten-free flour. It was frying all up maybe a couple of minutes, something like that.
and so look, there you go. I'm just going to do them like this, not going to roll them.
That's nice.
Now, if only I had some baking parchment. There are some things I didn't
have
think
baking
about,
parchment.
like,
You mean baking paper?
yes,
Yeah. There you go.
great. There we go. Oh, that's lovely. That's how we want it. That's how we
I
want
think
it.
I've put too many in there.
In that case, just don't move them. Leave them.
Yeah. I mean, just put...
Whoopsie.
Could you open the front door? Thank you. Thank you.
Oh dear, we set off the alarm.
It's too smoky. Okay, I would say we're going to have a break and we will be back. 5.
Okay.
So we're finished with this beautiful feast.
Yes,
Look at this.
And we made the pile of flatbreads and didn't keep you waiting while we fried them all.
And the house didn't burn down.
So I'm going to put one on a plate and then I'm going to put a bit of the
So what is
butter
this? Tell us
bean.
what we've
This
got.
is my butter bean smash up. And it's got preserved lemon and green olives and roasted garlic, and I'm just going to put a little bit, and chili and coriander, and then I'm going to put some of the carrots in the lime and coriander and cumin seeds and coriander seeds.
Garlic.
And yes, more garlic.
More garlic.
More garlic, more garlic. And then it's got that lovely lime and and cumin dressing on top. And then I'm going to put a bit of the broccolini, which is griddled in the pan, and then some of the in fact you could just have one like this. Let's leave one like this and make another. Let's put another one there with more of the butter bean. And
tell us what was in the broccolini.
And then in the broccolini, initially I just sort of macerated them in olive oil and salt and pepper, that's all. And then once they were griddled, I added a smoked red pepper and sesame seeds, and it's got a bit of, well, actually it's about to have something, just 1 second. A little bit of this pomegranate molasses and lime and garlic dressing. So that's that one. And then we have the aubergine, and I think
just
we leave that as it is.
Could you just talk us through this absolute
piece of art? Okay, so I smoked the aubergine.
Smoke means like
so
on the
I put
open
it on the
flame.
Open flame so that we could take the skin off. So we waited until the aubergine was really, really black and peeled the skin off, leaving just a little bit on the bottom so that when I sliced through it, it kept its shape. Then I doused it in a dressing of lime juice, very finely chopped garlic, olive oil, salt, pepper, just to season the flesh. And then I fried the chickpeas in harissa and ground cumin and paprika, and then mixed them in with the yogurt, tahini. Oh gosh, what else did I put in the yogurt and tahini? Do you remember? And tamarind. And tamarind, yes. And a touch of maple syrup just to add a little tiny bit of sweetness to it. Mixed most of the chickpeas into that dressing, kept some of the fried chickpeas on top as a garnish.
It's so beautiful.
Then there's some pomegranate seeds and chili and coriander.
Yum. So we're going to use the flatbreads to dip into
and
that.
We are going to, yes, so we could.
Yeah.
We could
taste
We
test.
could. In fact, I'm going to have a little bit like
That's
this.
how you do it. Or just
Like
grab
that.
it with that beautiful
Well,
sweet
you could.
potato
I mean,
flatbread.
look, really.
Ooh, yummy, yummy. And you cooked in a new kitchen today. So
In Stroud.
in Stroud in England, all the way from Mullumbimby, Byron Bay, Australia, in a roundabout sort of way. What's the verdict?
And the same, the other thing is, you can do the same with the butter bean puree. You can just scoop it up with a flatbread, or you can spread it, make it a little bit more.
And then you can grab a carrot. Oh, fantastic.
Oh, I don't know about that.
And especially in this beautiful way, I'm super excited, Nadine. I never make this kind of I don't know, it's like a whole new flavor and a whole new zest, and I'm so excited you were here today.
Oh, it was so lovely.
Thank you.
Really lovely.
And if you want to find her recipe, she's got a website, nadinesfeast.com, and you can get free ebooks, you can get recipes on there. She's on Instagram as well. She is going to do live videos at some point. I'm cheering her on. And we've got so many books that you can buy in, Amazon, and
you can get Nadine's Feast on Amazon.
Yeah.
And you can still buy the Crank's Bible online as well.
You can, or you can ask your neighbors down the road, and they might have a few going as well. So do check her out, and we get to eat them.
We are going to eat them tonight.
Thank you for visiting Stroud.
Thank you.
Thank you for visiting Gala's Organic Kitchen, and I hope you come again.
I will.
And I will come to your kitchen too one day, maybe.
In Australia.
Yes. And we're having my chocolate beetroot raspberry cake for dessert.
Oh,
that's
what?
Secret.
What?
Yeah.
She didn't tell me
we'll
that.
make a video later.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, how wonderful.
Lots of love.
Thank you. Bye.